Alrighty, guys. Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? It is almost Friday. Doing pretty good. It's the end of the work week. Hope you guys are having a wonderful end to your week. We got some good news and we got some bad news. The good news is we're not going to have two hurricanes hitting the East Coast. We're going to have one. Yay! I think that's about the best news I've got for you guys. It's been a very stressful day. It's been a very long day watching, studying, figuring out what the heck is going to happen with Invest 94L and soon to be Imelda and Hurricane, or what is about to be Hurricane Humberto, has strengthened pretty much all day today since it got that name yesterday. Basically 10-mile-per-hour wind shy of hurricane status right now, expected to become a hurricane either tonight or by tomorrow morning. This is Humberto right now. You can see a pretty beautiful looking storm so far here. Still have a little bit of dry air and some shear here with that jet stream just to the north here. Eventually that will start to erode and we will see this storm basically become a monster eye candy hurricane. And I say eye candy because it's going to have very, very nice and symmetrical look to it once this thing gets going and starts rapidly intensifying and going through its bread and butter, basically is what I'm getting at here. What's not pretty is what's down south of it. And we do have Invest 94L here that is south of it, starting to look a little bit more developy-ish here. The low level center and mid-level center still have yet to basically kind of align on top of each other, so we're not seeing this storm become a tropical depression or anything quite yet. But tomorrow we are expecting this to become a tropical depression and maybe even a tropical storm as soon as Friday night into Saturday morning. So we are going to more than likely get a cone tomorrow. I thought we were going to get one today, just kind of given the way it was looking last night, but right now that is not the case. So like I said, something that we're watching here, the low-level center is actually just to the north here. We have all of this convection down here. Our low-level and mid-level center are trying to kind of align just north of the islands here. And I do want to make a quick note on something, and this is actually something I was tracking and watching all day today. I didn't mention it in my video because I wanted to make the video shorter, but we actually had the low pressure today. It was actually originally forecasted to kind of move over Hispaniola and interact with the mountains there and maybe potentially kind of retract and regress how the system was trying to get itself together. It actually made a clean pass over the rainforest portion of Hispaniola today and actually did not fall apart in terms of the low. So basically what we're looking at here is a better chance of this storm organizing a little bit quicker in the short term. It's very possible that we see, Imelda named tomorrow. It could be, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. I think between tomorrow night and Saturday morning is when this system will be named. And then, we have to watch for, what's going to happen down the road. This, guys, is still a very, very complicated forecast. This thing makes my head hurt. When I tell you I've done nothing but stare at weather models since I woke up this morning, that's literally what I've done. You can literally ask the team. That's literally what I've done. I've tried to figure out and think and scratch my head and figure out what's going to do. And it looks like we're going to have a landfall. It looks like we are going to have a very good likely scenario of a tropical storm, a high-end tropical storm, or maybe even a low-end hurricane making landfall somewhere between South Carolina and North Carolina. Right now, the target looks to be Myrtle Beach, and that's not a great place for it to be at. I grew up, living and going to that beach. I know a lot of you guys that live on the East Coast do. They've actually already issued a state of emergency for Conway in that area. That is the area that surrounds Myrtle Beach ahead of this storm, which makes sense because that's where the models and the ensembles are basically saying, hey, this is where this could make landfall at. I do want to let you guys know we're still going to see this, the trends kind of go a little bit back and forth. There's even still a chance, given we get a miracle out of this situation here, that we see the system recurve or go out to sea. That would be a great scenario, but I think that's really starting to downgrade at this point. We've seen the Euro AI today, the GFS consistently all day today show Invest 94L become a named storm and then eventually make landfall in South Carolina and North Carolina. And I want you guys to also understand something. We are dealing, in a sense, this is not going to be like Helene, hopefully not, but we are dealing with a little bit of a predecessor rain event that's going to be this weekend across the east portions of North Carolina and South Carolina that's going to basically allow the ground to be saturated just enough to where when Imelda comes in, or if Imelda comes in, we could be looking at a pretty significant flash flooding event for eastern Virginia, eastern North Carolina, eastern South Carolina. The models have got some very, very wild numbers that are a little bit alarming. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to break that down. I will let you guys know this now so you can put this on your schedules if you're watching me for coverage. I won't be doing coverage all day tomorrow. Tomorrow is one more day that I'm going to sit behind the screen and kind of just do updates and kind of see how things play out. Once Saturday gets here, if we are still looking at a landfall, we will start landfall coverage on Saturday Saturday, meaning I will literally sit on stream from the morning that I wake. Actually, it won't be the morning because I have a 5K I'm running in Indiana on Saturday. So when I get back from that on Saturday, around lunchtime on Saturday, we will start live streaming. We'll be on all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and all day Wednesday until that landfall is officially done and over with and the system is done. So that is how kind of my schedule works in terms of what we're going to be doing with this. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that so you guys know if you watch me or if you're looking for coverage, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be covering both of these events all the way until they're done. So right now, if we get a landfall, it would be Monday night into Tuesday across South Carolina and North Carolina. The Gulf, I don't see being an issue. I think you guys are going to be okay in the Gulf. Florida, we still need to watch out for, just very, very, just to be cautious here. But it does look like most of the ensemble support does have, and the model dermatistic runs have a landfalling hurricane or high-end tropical storm. And I want you guys to also remember, we're not just going to be paying attention to those, or we don't need to just pay attention to what is the category of the hurricane, what is the strength of the storm. We are going to have flooding regardless of what happens with this event. So that's going to be the biggest thing that we worry about. And we're going to have the threat for isolated tornadoes. You guys know that comes with tropical systems and hurricanes. And we're going to have the threat for storm surge. We're going to have ridiculous wave heights. We're going to have two basically potential hurricanes pretty close to each other. The waves are going to be ridiculous. It's literally just a disaster, not a disaster, but not a great situation kind of waiting to happen here. So right now, like I said, Invest 94L, this may look a little bit better overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. We'll take a look at what this looks like. There is the official designation of the low. This is where the National Hurricane has it at, or the National Hurricane Center has it at. The north of the islands here, we should start to see something get itself going here in the next little bit. So that's something we're watching. Like I said, Humberto, we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Humberto is expected to move out to sea, not expecting anything near the United States. So we can basically kind of eliminate Humberto from the picture in terms of impacts for the United States, other than some waves. This is what's scary. This is something that's been trending all day today. These are basically all of the hurricane models and all of the global models basically combined together on spaghetti plots, and basically every single one of them pretty tight here on a South Carolina, North Carolina landfall. And you like I said, you can't ignore it. It's pretty ideal here that we're going to more than likely have a landfall as we go towards Monday and Tuesday. There's about one, maybe two outliers here that kind of stall this out and then move it out to sea. Still a scenario. It's very possible. Right now, though, it looks to be this is where we're going to be watching for. There's not much we can do about it, guys. Like I said, the good news is we're not dealing with 8 to 12 inches of rainfall well before this event like last year. We are going to have some rain out there over the next couple of days. That's going to saturate the ground, kind of allowing for, more flooding once the system comes in. These numbers are going to bounce all over the place in terms of rainfall. We're about to get some new model runs in here in just a few minutes as well, so we'll kind of talk about that. I also want you guys to understand, don't pay too much attention to the intensity tracks here. These are going to go up and down in terms of how quickly in the short term does future Imelda develop. Does this become a tropical storm sooner or hurricane sooner? Like what? Don't pay too much attention to the intensity. Pay attention to the impacts. So like I said, right now we're expecting maybe a hurricane at max with this. You're going to look at that and people are going to say, oh, it's not a hurricane. It's not going to do anything. Tropical storms, guys, can cause catastrophic damage in terms of flooding or in terms of wind speeds or in terms of anything. So each system is unique. It brings its own impacts. That's what I'm trying to stress here. So just because this may not be a Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane doesn't mean that it's not going to cause, significant damage. So that's what I want you guys to also remember at the end of the day. It doesn't take much to cause issues. It really doesn't. So that's something we're looking at here as well. Like I said, that intensity track. We'll look at all the other stuff later on here. Pressure at 109 here, 25 knots. So we'll see what happens. I don't think we have recon. Do we have recon? They're doing missions. They're not doing recon, I think, until officially tomorrow. So I'll have to take a look at that when they get in there tomorrow and do that. But they do have drop soundings in there. We'll take a look at hurricane models here in just a moment. I do want to take a look at the National Hurricane Center here and just take a look here. This is the latest outlook. So basically an 80-90% chance of tropical cyclone development here. We know we're going to get Imelda. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point. Earlier this afternoon, the National Hurricane Center actually had this area more kind of out to sea here. With the latest update tonight, they basically said, hey, we see the ensembles, we see the models. This is where we're watching right here. That's where we're thinking landfall potentially is going to happen at. So if you're on the East Coast, especially in South Carolina and North Carolina, I want you to be preparing for heavy rainfall, whether it be 6 inches of rain or 20 inches of rainfall. Be prepared for heavy rainfall. Be prepared for storm surge. Be prepared for tornadoes. Be prepared for wind. It's going to be windy out there, whether you get the eye wall, whether you get tropical storm force winds. it's going to be an issue. We're going to have down power lines. We're going to have down trees. This is the first major system to impact the United States at all this year in terms of tropical system development. So I want you guys prepared there. I want you taking this seriously. I know there are going to be lots of people on social media right now that are either saying that there is a major hurricane coming toward the United States when there's not, or that you're going to be fine, that it's going to miss and all this other stuff. If you guys want reliable weather coverage, you stay here. We'll keep you guys updated. There's a lot of that false information flying around, and I try to avoid it, and it's literally impossible. So like I said, at the end of the day, we're going to be watching this very, very closely. Let's take a look at some ensembles here, and then we'll start looking at the models that are coming in here for tonight. These are the latest European ensembles, the 18Z that updated just a little bit ago, and you can see a pretty good clean recurve out to sea. We're not expecting Humberto to come toward the United States, but what do you see on the left side of your screen? We see future Imelda here, and like I said, you know, you've got some ensembles that still kind of take this a little bit to the west here, a little bit less likely of a scenario. You have most of your ensembles here taking a landfall up into the United States. Like I said, pretty decent all day today. We'll see if things change overnight or tomorrow. I hope and pray that we wake up tomorrow morning and this thing is just trended in a different direction. I would love for an out to sea curve. I don't want to see this happen, but in reality, we have to look at what we're looking at here. So we'll see what happens overnight tonight. When we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll see if things change. If not, then, you know, that's where we're at. Here's the latest GFS ensembles from earlier this afternoon as well. This is the 18Z. And like I said, let's do it this way here because there's so much on this because it goes so far out. There we go. All right. Humberto goes out to sea. GFS ensembles pretty much bring in a tropical depression, tropical storm, or low-end hurricane to the Outer Banks here of North Carolina and South Carolina. So like I said, right now, landfall, if I were to guess, would be South Carolina, but we're not going to spend too much time on that because it's so far out, and like I said, things can change. I also want you guys to understand there is still a opportunity if this storm can get itself together quicker and strengthen quicker, which is definitely always a possibility when you have the tropics ongoing. We may actually end up, if we get a tropical storm or a strengthening tropical storm before this gets to the Carolinas here, there is actually what's called a loop current or a north flowing jet stream around our trough that's going to be sitting here kind of steering this. If it times it just right, we could see, it's very low in chance right now, but we could see a quick rapid intensification phase where this thing would undergo Cat 1 or Cat 2 status before landfall. I've seen some models, the HWRF does it, and a couple of the other hurricane models do it, but right now, until we actually get a named storm, we're not going to mess around with that and really, you know, get too much into that because that is a scenario, but it's less likely right now. So we want to go with the more like, what is the potential scenario here? So those are the GFS ensembles. Then we take a look at the Google Deep AI. By the way, guys, we need to give a round of applause to the Google Deep AI. The AI models this year have done amazing. We saw the AI models this year, basically, or not this year, but on these two systems show 2 weeks ago, almost a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago on the Google Deep AI. So at least showing the potential for something. So the fact that we were able to know, hey, this is going to be something to watch in the tropics in about 2 weeks or a week and a half or a week out, that's pretty damn good. So I'm actually very, very happy with where this is going right now. It's a very good and life-saving tool, and it's not going to happen every single time, but it's done pretty good. You can also see the potential for another wave out here as we go towards the, into October. We're not going to spend too much time on that. Humberto goes out to sea. Some of the Google Deep AI are still kind of split on a 50-50 scenario here. Some taken out to sea with that Fujiwara effect, depending on how strong Humberto is, and then some mostly take it inland here. So we're split on that, and then the other run from the Google Deep AI runs also have pretty much a landfall with some going out to sea. Google takes it a little bit stronger here inland, and then, there we go at that point. So that's what we're looking at. So let's talk about some global dermatistic runs. We actually just had the Icon update. The Icon model is one of the pretty much only outliers here. I don't really like this scenario. It's starting to realize that what the GFS and European are doing, it's basically taking a Cat 3, Cat 4. This is not a situation that's going to happen. We're not going to more than likely have a 970 millibar Cat 4 coming into, or Cat 3 coming towards South Carolina on Tuesday. I don't see that scenario happening there. It's basically an outlier at this point. So the Icon we can pretty much throw out. It would be a nice scenario to see happen, but I don't think we're going to have a 939 and a 9. I don't think we're going to have two Cat 4s in the same place at the same time. There's just not enough time for that to happen. So we'll keep an update on that. What we do want to look at, though, is the GFS, and we are getting a new GFS run. I'll show you guys the 18Z from earlier. This is the evening run from 6 p.m. You can see, once again, the main issue is going to be here. We've got basically two scenarios. Humberto is slower to move west, which is what is forecasted right now, allowing for Imelda to basically stay ahead of it. If the Imelda can stay in front of Humberto, we will basically have a landfall. That's basically the only scenario that we get a landfall on. If for some reason, which is a little bit of slight guidance with this, if Imelda trends weaker and takes longer to move north and Humberto passes to the north, it would pull these two out to sea almost. So that scenario is really only being realized on the icon of the CMC. So until those two officially move over to what we're seeing with the GFS and the Euro and the Google, then we'll be like, hey, like this is going to happen 100%. But right now we're about 30% on a landfall is what I'm getting at right now. So GFS earlier takes a Cat 1 into South Carolina. And then here's the issue. This is what we don't want to see happen. Humberto is going to try and tug this low back out. And it's basically going to allow for our tropical system to stall out over South Carolina and North Carolina. And this is where that flooding threat would be an issue. And we'll take a look at what those rainfall totals are here in just a moment. The European model this afternoon as well, also showing, I believe as well, a faster moving system, taking a Cat 1, almost Cat 2 right into South Carolina there at Myrtle Beach, with Humberto being Cat 4 just to the south of it there, and then eventually stalling it out, buckets and buckets of rainfall, and then eventually by Wednesday it's still sitting there, and then there goes out to Humberto out to sea. So we're seeing a stalling trend, and it's not good, guys. It's not good. That's why I'm telling you guys, flooding is going to be the biggest impact with whatever strength this system is. If we get a landfall, flooding will be the worst out of this whole entire thing. Whether it's, whether it's hurricane force winds or flooding does the most damage every single time. So adding 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts to a major flooding event is just going to allow for more destruction in terms of trees and power lines and all that being down. So if you don't believe what I'm telling you, let Helene be a reference, because we called Helene almost 5 days out and did a pretty damn good job on that one. Let this reassure you that there will more than likely be some type of significant flooding here. This is going to be mostly all of North Carolina and South Carolina and Virginia that see these impacts. The further east you go from Charlotte over toward the beach, basically, let me put it in a nutshell. The closer you are to the beach, the worse it's going to be. Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina apply to that concept. So if you are on the beach, if you are 50 miles inland, if you're 100 miles inland, the further east you go, the worse it's going to be. Virginia Beach will be in that conversation as well, correct? So right now, it's too specific to get into like, hey, this is going to make landfall here. We're still about 48 hours from knowing that answer, if that's still the trend. Like I said, guys, we all pray and hope here that tomorrow morning we wake up and the trend has changed, but I just don't see that happening. I would be shocked. Let's take a look. The GFS, the new GFS is actually coming in right now. So we're going to watch this come in because this is a pretty important run. And that's not what we want to see. That's not at all what we want to see. A faster moving, stronger hurricane, Cat 1 hurricane by Sunday night. This actually develops, this new run actually does develop. We'll have Imelda by Saturday morning. So this new run has Imelda developing by Saturday morning. Humberto still hanging east. And then there we go. So this is where it's at right now. It's still updating. So right now we would have basically a Cat 1 hurricane, high-end tropical storm Cat 1 hurricane by Sunday evening, just off the coast of Florida here with a Cat 4 just behind it. Remember, Humberto's going out to sea no matter what, you see here, it's going to go out to sea. I don't see Humberto making anywhere near close. What we're watching is Imelda. That's what our soon-to-be Imelda. So we're going to watch this run come in. We're going to see what happens here. If you guys have questions in chat, I'll answer those while we are waiting for this run to render. In terms of landfall, all that stuff, I can't answer those questions because it's a little too far out to understand where that's going to happen at. So if you are on the beach, if you are in South Carolina Beach, if you're anywhere on the beach in North Carolina or Virginia, there are going to be wind impacts. There is going to be significant rain. There is going to be storm surge. There are going to be waves, and there are going to be isolated tornadoes. All four concepts are going to apply to wherever you're at from South Carolina up. I'm telling you right now, guys, it is literally all of the beaches. If you go from the border of Georgia and South Carolina all the way up to Virginia Beach, that is where those major impacts are going to be at. And then when you go inland, we will have heavy rainfall as well. So it doesn't matter at really where you're at on the beach. We'll know more in terms of the worst case impacts for certain areas as we get closer. We're hoping we can know those answers by this time tomorrow. So in about 24 hours, it'll be a better answer. So yeah, Brian, I saw the scan on that as well. I saw the National Hurricane Center update. They decided to keep it at 65 because it was a weird little scan. So not saying it's not, but I think we'll clearly have it by the next update more than likely. So is there a chance of a Gulf? Yeah, there's no chance really of a Gulf curve. I don't see that scenario anymore popping up, which is interesting. All right, let's see if we're getting a new look here. So this is also interesting. We are seeing, once again, strengthening up to landfall. So this is definitely a scenario we don't want to see, is that strengthening to landfall. So 990 would be right at Cat 1, getting close to Cat 2 hurricane status. Thoughts on this moving up the East Coast? Well, I would consider this technically moving up the East Coast. It's more than likely going to go inland and stall out. The odds right now of this system making it up here into Pennsylvania, probably very, very low. What's going to more than likely happen, guys, as I mentioned a minute ago, this goes inland, it stalls out because Humberto is going to move by and try to pull this low back out to sea. And because it's going to be too far away, there's going to be a little bit of I guess that Fujiwara effect sort of kind of here. And then it's just going to sit. It's more than likely just going to sit right now. So that's the biggest worry is a tropical system sitting over top of North Carolina and South Carolina. And you can see where it looks like we're going for another landfall here is what I'm seeing right now on this run. So we'll see if that continues here in just a moment. We'll take a look more in depth here as well. Yeah, all of South Carolina, North Carolina, we're even going to see rain as far as the Tennessee Valley. Not as high. I'll show you guys some of those rainfall totals here in just a few minutes as well. The good news is this is not a Cat 3 or higher slamming into the coast. That's one positive. It's still going to be a monster storm. It's going to be gross. This is not going to be fun to watch happen this weekend. So if you guys remember, and if you've just joined the stream or you're just watching the channel for the first time, you clearly don't know this. But for my people that have been watching for a while, how many weeks, how many months have we been trying to tell you guys, hey, it's a matter of time before something happens? We've literally talked about this all hurricane season with all of the misses and all of the dodges we've had with the United States. It's a matter of time before something happens, and it's literally always either the end of September or the beginning of October when it happens. I literally stress it on every single stream. When is something going to happen? And it's finally happening, and people got to prepare. So it's a reality check basically here. It's not time to sit and ponder and worry about, what's not going to happen or what is going to happen. The odds are we are going to get a hurricane making landfall right now on the South Carolina, North Carolina coastline on Monday or Tuesday. That is what we are playing with right now. And actually, believe it or not, the GFS is actually trending Humberto weaker now. So this allows for this system to strengthen maybe and pull further to the northwest. This is now a Cat 2 hurricane making landfall on this GFS. So we are actually seeing a quicker storm intensify quicker, maybe even a hurricane by the time it gets into the Bahamas on Sunday. And then now, there it goes. 983, that's actually a Cat 2. That's a mid-grade Cat 2 hurricane making landfall. So this is concerning. I don't like to see this trend, especially the more closer we get to a landfall. This is not something we want to see happen. Sierra, I'm actually going to give you a call. Maybe if you're still up when I get off stream, I can give you a ring if you want. Yeah, Asheville, my people in Asheville, you guys know I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I lived there for 22 years. I'm not too concerned about Asheville right now. Right now, I'm seeing rainfall totals anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe 3 to 5 inches. Just be mindful, things can change. You guys know that as much as I do. I know you guys went through Helene, and I know you guys have trauma more than anything in the world, and I respect that 100%. If you have that feeling and you want to prepare, absolutely prepare. Absolutely. I will never tell somebody not to prepare if they don't feel like they want to or not to. Absolutely. I respect those decisions 100%. If you have anxiety and you want to prepare, do it. Humberto's going to go out to sea. This is the most volatile run. I'm going to use that word because out of all the GFS runs we've had in the last 2 days, this is the strongest hurricane that it's shown so far. It's a 983. Maybe it'll probably go into sub 980 here in a minute. This basically is starting to signal, and this is what I'm worried about, is we have two scenarios here in a rapid intensification scenario. If we get to Saturday afternoon, and we do in fact have Tropical Storm Imelda here with a pretty decent core and not affected by dry air and shear to the north of it, if this storm is a compact little tropical storm, it will have an opportunity to rapidly intensify before it gets inland. That is 100% possible. If this storm is messy and still, a weak tropical storm and it's not, compact and tightened with the low and doesn't have convection wrapped all the way around it, it's going to probably be lopsided. There's a lot of models that have this system being lopsided and it being loaded on the northwestern side of the actual storm and bringing more rainfall on the northwest side, which would kind of be worse for inland areas. So like I said, there are a million scenarios, guys, but landfall looks to be the worst right now. And there it is right there. That would be a landfall on Monday night around 6 p.m. in, I believe, let's zoom in here. If this is correct. Let's take a looky. Gosh, it just wants Myrtle Beach, just gone. This is the 7th run now that it's got a hurricane nailing Myrtle Beach. Guys, you know what's funny? I caught my first fish as a kid at Myrtle Beach. Caught my first fish, and I caught a baby shark. This beach is about to get eroded significantly. Not something we want to see. So that is a mid-grade, that is a mid-grade Cat 2 on the GFS making landfall. And I want you guys to see, do you notice here how it's lopsided? We have most of the rainfall and convection on the north side. That is due to dry air that is going to be starting to wrap itself around the system as it gets closer to the east coast. And it's also as well in a tornado aspect of things, tornadoes and tropical tornadoes that spin with the northeastern side of our typical tropical systems, they like to have a little bit of dry air with them. So basically we would see a higher chance of isolated tornadoes on the eastern side of that low if this were making landfall where it's at. So like I said, there's a million different things that are going to be ongoing with this. And the worst case scenario is this stalls out. It stalls out, and we actually see tropical storm force winds inland here as far as maybe Asheville, maybe east of that. This is a little too far to kind of speculate on. Humberto, as long as Humberto is kind of sitting here off the east coast, this low is going to get stuck and it's going to not move. And that is the concern as we go into Tuesday. So yeah, it's not a good look. This makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. I absolutely hate this. So, like I said, guys, it's not just one run. We'll see what the European does tonight as well, overnight tonight. But we pretty much have full-on agreement of a landfall for Monday into Tuesday. So the good news is you guys get to have me every single day, all day long going forward. So we're going to be here covering this from start to finish. I am not making the same mistake as I did last year where I didn't cover Helene all the way through landfall and went to sleep because I was exhausted because we did a 22-hour stream on the day of Helene landfall. And I went to sleep and woke up the next morning and my town was basically gone. I am not making that mistake again. So I will be pulling an all-nighter for Monday night into Tuesday once this makes landfall. We will be covering this event from start to finish. I'm like I said, I told Rochelle this and I told the team this. I'm not making that mistake again. It just not doing it again. It bothers me to this very day. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the rainfall here. Do I have anybody in stream that's in Asheville? I'm actually curious for just a second. Do I have anybody in stream that's from Asheville, North Carolina? I do see her. I do. Just out of curiosity, for anybody in here that's in Asheville, okay, Swannanoa, that's where I'm from, believe it or not. That's actually where I'm from. That's crazy. How much rainfall have you guys had in the last couple days? I'm going to have to look and do some studies on NWS and look and see if they've got any totals, and I'm just curious to see how much rainfall you guys have picked up in the last couple days. It's definitely not 8 to 12 inches of rainfall like before Helene last year. That's one good thing. I'm just curious to see if anybody knows how much rain you guys have had. I'm gonna think around 1 to 3 inches. So that's what I would be thinking. Not a lot. It's been here. Okay. So it's the good thing is it's not anything near what happened last year. Completely different path, completely different track. You know, I wouldn't even rule out tropical storm force winds that far north. Charleston, Somerville. Okay, so there are some areas in South Carolina. So we are going to be having, guys, I want to make this known too. We are going to be having a front come through tomorrow that's actually going to give you guys, we're going to have rain across this region before Imelda even gets here. This is what we call a precursor rainfall event. So this is what we had with Helene. It's, like I said, not going to be anything near that. There's going to be a good 1 to 3, maybe some 3 to 5 inches of rain that fall between now and Monday before Imelda actually moves inland. So the ground is going to get saturated before this storm officially comes inland, which is a little bit concerning, because once this does come inland, you're going to have all this rain come in, and depending on where this sits and where it goes and all of that will depend on, you know, those rainfall totals. Let's take a look here at the latest QPF. I think these are going to be a little bit less on the GFS run than what they were on the last one. Yikes, that just shifted all of the rain. I don't like to see those numbers. That's not good either. So this just put the higher pocket of rainfall back up into here on this run. It's about 6 to 12 inches of rain, roughly, scattered out. And that's in about 1 day, 1 to 2 days. And that's not finishing the model run out either. You got a couple pockets here. So this would be western North Carolina, the Piedmont down towards Greenville, Spartanburg, and then eventually eastern South Carolina. We're going to get these rainfall totals, guys, are also going to go back and forth. So don't get stuck on just one run. This puts 4 inches in Asheville, 5.5 inch in near Charlotte. And like I said, as we get closer to this event and as we start to see more runs of this, we'll get a better idea on what that's going to do. If you guys want to see worst case scenario, I'll show you worst case scenario. This was the European run from the 12Z. You're going to flip out when you see this. I don't think we're going to get this much rainfall. This had 10 to 25 inches of rainfall. Most of that being east of Charlotte, in Raleigh there. That's what the European had at lunchtime today. So that's kind of worst case scenario, which is not off the table, but it's worst case scenario. The good news is when the 18Z updated earlier, it backed off on some of those totals, but it's really looking like if we're going to see significant flash flooding, it's going to be further closer in, or it's going to be more towards the central portions of North Carolina, Virginia, and this is a model I like a little bit more. This seems less bullish, but more legit. So here's the deal, guys. I don't like to scare people. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to give you guys, like I said, that honest information. If I would say this now, you guys know, and you guys that watch the streams know that this is coming. It's potential. It's not a slam dunk 100% it's going to happen yet, but it's pretty much almost there. If you're going to do grocery shopping and you're going to do anything, I would do it now, because once the National Hurricane Center issues this cone tomorrow and we get that first cone and everybody on the East Coast is in that cone, that's when people start freaking out and going shopping. So I would do some grocery shopping tomorrow morning if I were you. Just all I'm going to say. Go get that stuff as soon as you guys can. So I know some people can, some people can't, but it is what it is at this point. So spread the word. If there's people you know that don't know about this, definitely spread the word. I'm pretty sure it's talked about a lot everywhere. It will be talked about more because this is our first hurricane potential landfall of the year. Let's go back here again and take a look. Let's go a little bit further. That is really disgusting to look at. That is 10 inches of rainfall, basically where I used to live. That is really gross. Yeah, that puts the heaviest of rainfall literally on the French Broad. That sucks. That's not what I like to see at all. That's the year. No, this is the new GFS that just came in, if this is right. 7.5 inches on Virginia Beach. You get spotted areas, but Florence, Charlotte, Hickory, all the way up here. This would be right along the divide. If you guys can't see the screen, you can either watch me. We're also live on YouTube. It can be full screen. You can also turn the screen sideways and hit the full screen button on the bottom on TikTok, I believe. So, I hate this so much. This sucks, guys. This really does suck. I hope we get a change. This is not what I wanted to see tonight. Yikes. Okay, this was the run before. This was the GFS run before. This was this afternoon's. It's a worst case scenario. I mean, I want you guys to remember, this is rainfall falling from the sky, not storm surge, not inland flooding. If you're on the beaches and you're seeing these totals here, you know, Wilmington 9, potentially Jacksonville 8, Virginia Beach 10, this is just falling rainfall, not the storm surge, not the waves, not any of that added to it. You add all that to it, that makes these numbers crazier. Yeah, Leanne, and it has. That's the issue. That's the issue. Yeah, I'm not a fan of these numbers tonight at all. This makes me very, very nervous for you guys. I'm not gonna lie when I say that. See here. I am really concerned about this storm strength. We may have a Melda by tomorrow, guys, legitimately. And the only reason I say that is because of the fact that it did not pass over the mountains today and weekend as forecasted. Let's go back here. Yeah, so the center of circulation was supposed to pass over the higher mountaintops and kind of help disorganize the low pressure a little bit to where it would take a little bit longer to get itself together. It did not do that today. It actually free passed over a non-mountainous area, and so now our low is sitting up here, and overnight tonight, we're going to see convection start to wrap around this thing, and eventually by tomorrow night. Guys, look, this is Florida. Like, we're not that far. Like, this is the Bahamas, this is Florida, this is our system. Like, we are that close to the United States. It's not that far. So we are getting ready to watch a tropical storm / hurricane literally develop outside of our backyard in the next 3 days. Like, isn't that just crazy? Like, I know that's scary on top of it happening, but like, isn't that just crazy? Like, that's how close that this thing is developing. It blows your mind. Just a little bit. Is it possible for it to be stronger than a 3 once it hits land? Amber, I hate answering that question, not anything against you. I hate answering that question just because of the fact that it is possible. It's very low end, but I also can't say no. I can't say no. Every single system this year has been a major hurricane, but we can't rely on that. So we will be live tomorrow, guys, right around 12:30 lunchtime. We're going to be getting, I just saw the Hurricane Recon schedule posted for tomorrow. So Hurricane Hunters will be flying in there for the first time with low-level recon so we can actually get wind speed. Where is the center at? All of that stuff. We will get some big track upgrades, potentially some positive ones, hopefully, maybe, tomorrow evening. So this time tomorrow, we should hopefully have a potential cone as well as where this thing is actually going to go. So Hurricane Hunter Recon is going to go in tomorrow at noon, and then they'll have 6 more flights between Friday night and Saturday morning. So we will have a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow while we're watching updates. So that'll be super, super cool to watch. Interesting. I just saw that. That's a very interesting schedule. I'm actually going to save that. So that's the recon. The recon instant's going to go in. Okay, I haven't seen anything else yet with that. All right. Anyways, we are seeing, look at that though. There is some spin. We are starting to see some spin with this here. This is actually potentially starting to develop, and you can see that center right in there. It's trying. I legitimately think we have a shot at making this thing name tomorrow. I really think it's potentially there. You can definitely see the low-level cloud spin with it. It definitely exists a lot more this evening than it did yesterday at this time. A little bit more impressive there. So, what's up, Lucas? Updates for Asheville. Right now, we've got models showing up to a foot of rainfall, and we have models showing 5 to 8. That's the best answer I can give you right now. I will know a lot more at this time tomorrow. Jade, I would say a 1 right now. I say we go cat 1, maybe cat 2, but we're going to have to see this thing strengthen quickly now. Like, if this thing's going to make a run at a major hurricane, if it were to, we would have to see this thing get cranking like now. Like, it's going to have to be named tomorrow, major, it's going to have to be a hurricane by Sunday, and then at that point, you know, that's when it would be. Is that going to happen? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think anybody does. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate, though, on where that's going to go because there's not a track and an intensity cone on it quite yet. But we are starting to see there's a spin. There is definitely a spin. I do think that there is a chance that we wake up tomorrow morning and we see a cone out, finally. Very impressive. I'm actually going to, let's pull up Radar Omega here for just a moment. Because I want to see if we can see a little bit more. I don't know if it's going to let me see it on here. Excuse me. I don't think I can get satellite in on here at all, which is gonna suck. So it looks like, once again, our center is right in here, somewhere in there, and we are starting to see some outflow spin here. It's definitely trying. October 1st be impacted. Lily, I don't think so. I wouldn't think so, no. I think we'll already be almost done with it by then. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is very interesting though, the way that it's looking right now. We do have some hurricane models. We can talk about those. Let me go. Let's see here. See, hurricane season isn't over till November 30th. Let me pull these models up. Hello, guys. If you're coming in, welcome, welcome in. What's up, Uncle Nick? Good to see you guys. All right, let's look at the latest HWRF and see what it's doing. Yeah, it's definitely not going to the Gulf. That's not a scenario anymore. Definitely not going to the Gulf. HWRF is interesting. So HWRF has got a hurricane almost here by Sunday morning. This thing is going to be very lopsided. Wow. That is by Monday morning on the HWRF. A little bit messy, yeah, definitely messy. Starts to take on dry air out of the southeast. God, this is going to be awful for the beaches. I absolutely hate this for the beaches. This sucks. This is just one run, guys, so. It looks like it attempts to rapidly intensify or close off right before. So this is at 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, making landfall, go figure. Oh, this is gonna suck. That's just one run. This would be interesting. Let's see what the HMON does. It's going to look weird, though, guys, too, just because it's the models. Yeah, the HMON has strengthening up to... doesn't have it looking as impressive. I hate this model so much. It's so stupid. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go... Let's go models and see if it can do it this way. Let's give us a better idea of what it could look like. Yeah, so the HWRF actually does really, really good with intensity as well. That is known when it comes to hurricane forecasting. HWRF goes 977. That's a very, almost 975. That's almost a Cat 3. It's Cat 2, Cat 3 hurricane. So, I mean, that's kind of worst case scenario right there. That would be worst case scenario is we get Cat 2, Cat 3 with this. Is it possible? Sure. Is it going to happen? I don't know the answer to that. That's a lot of rainfall, though, which is an issue. Let's take a look at HMON again and see what it's doing. A little bit weaker. Keeps it a lot weaker. Has a 991 at landfall, Cat 1, dirty side to the northeast there. Should we be for Appalachia? I would be watching it if you're in Apple. Yeah, I would be watching it. Let's see what the HAFSA is doing as well. Yeah, HAFSA also has 988. God, that would be a regional tornado outbreak and a half right there if that developed. All the models have a landfall either South Carolina or North Carolina. And then the logo's spinning after that. Look at the HFSB and see what it did. 985. So it really depends on, and these models run every 6 hours. It really depends on what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day to watch the system. Like I said, not a trend we want to see. But it's time to get prepared, guys. It's time to get prepared. That's where we're at with it. This model has 13 inches of rainfall just outside of Asheville on the GFS run. This would be worst case scenario for you guys in the Western North Carolina. This would not be good. Seeing this lopsided loaded to the northwest would be awful. On which run, Aiden? If you're in the state of North Carolina, South Carolina, or Virginia, you need to be preparing for this storm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. That's my answer. The 18Z had a 940, did it, Aiden? Let me look at it again here. Did it? You might be seeing something, Aiden, because this is the 18Z. It goes 977. I don't know which one you're looking at. You may be looking at the wrong storm, bud. I haven't seen anything that low yet. Florida looks to be okay. Oh, Humberto. Oh yeah, Humberto wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me. That's my bad. So we'll see what happens, guys. Like I said, yikes. Yikes, yikes. This makes me very nervous for you guys again. Very, very nervous. Why is it always, I don't understand why it always has to be like Western North Carolina. Like, make that make sense. It's like ever since I left from living down there, I moved up here 2 years ago, every single thing is just nailed. Nailed it. It's crazy to me. Good news is I'm not seeing a lot of tropical waves afterwards, so that's some good news. Whew! Guys, we got a long weekend ahead of us. A very long weekend. Yeah, this was just the potential rainfall. The models are very scattered right now on where this is going to happen at. Until we really get a better idea on where the low is centered at, these are going to bob around. I'm ready to go, Manders. I already went ahead and did that. Not deeper into the south, no. It has the highest rainfall totals literally in my hometown, 13 inches on the GFS in like a 2-day period. 13 inches of rain in 2 days would be catastrophic again. That's like the worst case. Good news is this is just one model run. It's not like it's a blend or anything. This is going to be nowhere near Helene, guys. I want you guys to remember Helene, before Helene made landfall and moved up into the Carolinas, we had a prefrontal rain event that caused up to a foot of rainfall in Western North Carolina with just a cold front coming through. We guys had days and days of rainfall. That's what really ended up causing the main event, and then Helene brought an extra 15 to 20 inches of rain. So that's where we can't compare this system to Helene. Yes, it might be bringing lots of rain into the Carolinas. Yes, there's going to be flooding. Yes, it's a tropical storm. Yes, it's a hurricane, but it is anywhere near what happened last year. And I know there are people all day long that are going to sit here and try and compare it and say it is. There are no similarities whatsoever. There's not any. Helene made landfall in the panhandle of Florida and moved all the way up through Georgia and Alabama and into the Carolinas and then out to the Ohio Valley. This is coming off the East Coast, not out of the panhandle. So it is a completely different system. So let's see if we've got an update on any other trends here. We getting any new runs in? Is it worse or better? I would say it's neat. I mean, it's not good, but it's it's not as bad. I can't really say that, though. I don't know the answers to that one. These are the new ensembles coming in. Yeah, just be prepared, guys. That's the biggest thing. I could sit here and give you forecasts and we can talk scenarios all day long, but especially if you live in the Carolinas, both South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, this is the time. I'm telling you guys this now. If y'all watched last year, if you learned anything from last year, and we have something coming toward the East Coast, or we have something coming inland like this that could cause, major flooding, Just do it. Just go out and get it done now. Do it now. Save yourself the worries and the time later when everybody's scrambling to the store. Just get it done now. That is the biggest thing to emphasize. So I don't typically tell people to go grocery shopping and stuff like that unless I'm pretty confident on a storm coming in or a system coming in, and we're almost at that. Would I love to wake up tomorrow morning and see all of these models completely shifted in favor of a out to sea curve? Absolutely. Is it possible? Hopefully. Right now, it's not. Right now, the scenario is a landfall. So tomorrow will be Friday. Landfall would be Monday and a Tuesday. That gives us about 3.5 days after today. You're basically talking we will have a hurricane or tropical storm on the doorstep of the Carolinas in 72 hours. That's not long, guys, if you really think about it. It's really not long at all. No, they're not going to combine. That's not a scenario anymore. Not a scenario. I am not worried about that one. I'm looking at something here. Yeah, if we get on here tomorrow night and we're still looking at the same trends, then it's going to be pretty much I would say almost a guarantee. So if anybody needs any information on anything, please feel free to message me. My DMs are always open. I'm actually going to get off here in just a few minutes and get some sleep, guys, because this will probably be one of the last nights that I get decent sleep, because after tomorrow, we're going to be go, 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 go. So we'll be on here a lot. You can also message Ro as well there in chat. Message Spider as well. She's in the living room. So we are here to keep you guys safe. That is the goal at the end of the day. We're here to give you guys that information. We've done this a million times, I promise. I've covered a million storms, legitimately. This is not my first time doing this. Yeah, South Carolina's gonna have an issue. Flooding, potentially a landfall. We'll figure all that out and break that down tomorrow if that's still a scenario. Remember, guys, let's all hope and pray that we wake up tomorrow morning and this thing is shifted in the other direction. That would be a miracle, legitimately. But I believe science over miracles right now. So if y'all have any more questions, I got about 3 minutes left on here and we're gonna wrap stream up. I do plan on being on here pretty decently early tomorrow, so we'll get a stream in tomorrow morning for you guys. I haven't been able to do that much this week, so I'll do that for you guys tomorrow. Florida, we're watching. But I don't think you guys are going to be too much of a concern. I appreciate that, Stacy. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for the follows as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my weather team in here, guys. Make sure y'all give some love to the team. They're amazing as well. Getting all y'all's questions answered, because there's usually a lot of you guys in here, and I can guarantee you this now, as we get closer to this, more people will be watching. When we had Helene coverage last year, we kept 3,000 people in the stream concurrent, the whole 22-hour stream. I'm not joking. It was insane. So it will only get crazier in the chat. So I really appreciate you guys being respectful and caring. I don't think we had to block any people tonight, which is a first, especially on a hurricane stream. So I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Legitimately, you guys are awesome. So. Haiti, that's not going to be fun for you. That's not going to be fun. I'm excited to have you, Justin. I'm excited. I got a couple of new people on the team as well, guys. If you're interested in joining the weather team, message Roro in the chat there. Message Spider. We are asking if people want to join the team, Feel free to. to refresh on these ensembles. I'm interested to see what these ensembles do. Yikes. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna go here. Get ready to get some sleep and enjoy the next day I have here because we got time to grind. We gotta do it. We gotta do the thing. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the love, the gifts, the taps, all the support, all the follows, all the subs on YouTube. If you're new, I appreciate you. Justin, all of you guys, Sean, Lucas, bro, good to see you guys. I'll see you guys back in here tomorrow morning for an update. I'll also have a forecast video out for you guys tomorrow morning. And we'll see you guys hopefully back in here tomorrow with some positivity. That's the move. That's what we're hoping for. So other than that, guys, be safe. We'll see y'all in the next one.